I'm from Iran. Yes, he's from England.
Mina is more like a friend than my other girlfriends.
All people in Iran, they don't want to attack anybody. He's my best friend. He's a soulmate, basically. And this is my best ever experience.
I don't want the war. My mother doesn't want the war. My friends don't want the war.
I'm not terrorist. My mom is not terrorist. He wasn't terrorist. My dad is not terrorist. My sister is not terrorist. I can't see anybody around me to be terrorists. We are good people. We are people like you.
Maybe English people have a bad reputation because the government attacked, Iraq. I'm from London. I'm born and bred. Grew up in the centre of London in Covent Garden and Holborn.
I'm from Iran. I was born in Tehran, in the centre part of Tehran, and grew up there. All my teenage life I was there.
Yes, England is imperialist, but that's the government, not the ordinary people.
Yeah, he's a lovely man. He's got a kind heart. He's really understandable. He's supportive. He's a good artist. He's a good lover.
No, I don't want the war, and my neighbour doesn't want the war, and my friends from school don't want the war, and my mum doesn't want the war, my neighbour doesn't want the war, and the guy in the pub doesn't want the war.
It's not a good future. So it's going to be lots of chaos and war, probably blood. I don't know.
Mina is so sweet. She's small and strong and brave woman. She survived in different countries and she came to London. I'm lucky to meet her. I remember we met on a really sunny day in London by the canal, by the water, and we were talking about different things, and I thought she's really cute and soft and kind woman, and I like her accent. I like the way she speaks English. It's funny because she makes mistakes in English, but they're very sweet.
Israeli people are good people too, like Iranian people, and they don't want any war. But this is, it seems, government, they're just willing to attack Iran because Iranian government are against Israel.
I remember when we had the war with Iraq, before the war, everybody was saying, we won't have a war, it's crazy. They are not so mad to attack Iraq. We have no fight with them. My neighbors, my brothers, my friends, nobody had any problem with Iraq.
This is north of Iran and called Tajur. Very peaceful, very nice area.
Small town.
Small town. I'm afraid if war happens in Iran, all those houses going to destroy. All kids, the school going to close, shut down, and people they have no place to go.
I can say good morning, which is Sob Bakar. I can say Dostet Daram, which means I love you. I can say Azizam, which is darling.
We know the war is for oil, basically. The war basically is because of the oil and all mineral and goods that we have in our country. And if they can take over Iran, then because of the position of Iran in the Middle East, is really important.
I can't cook Iranian food because obviously it's too difficult for me to do, really, but I should learn.
If this war begins, then it's going to be really chaos because lots of, we have fanatics in Iran, so they might do this kind of thing, suicide bombing or something like that, which is really scary. And then war never going to finish.
Lots of civilians died in Iraq, and more than 200,000 people, I heard. Normal people, factory workers or mechanics, teachers, nurses.
Normally we cook together. Sometimes when I want to make salad or something, Chris comes and chops the vegetables.
There's a lot of money for aeroplanes or missiles to start a war, basically, with Iran, but everything has been closed, the libraries, the jobs. There's so many young people without jobs now. They're saying every day in the papers and the TV, cuts, austerity, cuts.
Sometimes I have a nightmare because my family back home, they live there, and we have experienced this war with Iraq. and we know that how difficult and how horrible it can be. And even now, they don't want a war. Nobody wants, nobody wants war in Iran. And people now, they panic. They are in a panicky mood, to be honest. And they're just collecting things, goods, and storing goods at home. And every neighbor, that they just tell each other that just collect whatever you can and keep it, because of the war is going to come.
Because it must be a bit hard for Mina sometimes to speak English every day. But you know, I'm not brilliant at learning languages, so I'm going to try anyway.
English people are really, in my experience, they are really good people. They are a bit reserved, a bit cold compared to our culture, but they are very tolerant people. They are open-minded.
The Iranians will just say to you, "Oh, what are you doing? Where are you from? Oh, what's your mum do?" For us, there's more rules.
Different people in bad and good are everywhere. In any part of the world you go, you can find bad and good. But here, all my experience about English people or people live in London, it was all positive. In the whole world, all people are friends with each other. They love each. I mean, they don't have any problem. People, they never had any problem. This is government.
It's embarrassing when you go to Europe and you meet people and they think that you love war because you're English. When
we've been together more than nearly 3 years now, 2.5 years.
It's a mixture. I want to protect her and she protects me.
It's really clever, playing different game now. They said we are attacking. They said the same thing. We are attacking Iraq because Saddam Hussein is a dictator and is against these people. Now that they are playing the same game with Iran, and they said that Iranian government are a dictator, and which is true. But this is not the way to change a government, to change the policy of the regime of one country.
Iran is an old country. England is an old country. You know, we both have strong traditions and culture.
I miss, for instance, if you go sit in a bus or a train, very instantly they just start to talk to you and tell their story, their life story, and they get to know you, and they become your friends very quickly, and you feel really safe and trust the passenger, your next seat passenger, and you start to talk about your feeling and your problems, and it's like a big family. It's really, really strange. It's totally different from here. The last time I went to Iran, it was really sweet and funny as well. I was sitting in a train. It was a long journey, and the girl sat next to me and started to tell about his medical problem. She had problem with her body, and she started to tell me, "Do you know any way that I can get rid of it?" And I was really surprised. I'm not a doctor.
So it's a good mix to be a little bit Iranian, a little bit English. I think it's a good mix.
I would love to live in a world without any war. The world that people can communicate freely. People can go to wherever they want without any restriction. They can work short hours, so they can have more time to spend together and explore the world in general. And I want our kids to feel freedom and live in peace. And I would love to all people to have secure life.
I'm very lucky to have her. I think when I speak Farsi to her, I know she laughs, but in my heart she makes me feel free.